Okay, good afternoon. This is Real with Robo again. And I'm loading the other video. That's why I'm on my phone and it may seem different. And yes, that's cat hair on my blanket. I have 2 cats. But like I said, my thoughts on how to solve this. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, red flag laws are not okay. Fettering the second is not okay. That's fine. But neither is school shootings. That's not okay. And it's not okay for kids to die. And it's not okay for people that are bad to get guns. That's not okay either. So, maybe there's a middle ground. Somewhere where we could find some kind of sanity that would be fair, but not unfair. Now, I'm pretty sure that many gun owners, none of you have to worry about all the mental background checks, all the other background checks, all this and that and the other thing. But you also don't want your Second Amendment rights fettered by red flag laws or having someone say, oh yeah, he crazy or she crazy. Okay, I get it. But then how do we do this where that doesn't happen? I think that professionals should be able to report, yes, this person should be checked out before being allowed a gun. Okay, because we're not talking about Jimmy down the street calling up the sheriff going, oh yeah, this person is crazy, so, put the red flag law on him. We're not talking about Jimmy down the street. We're not talking about an angry family member. We're not talking about anybody else having that power. We are talking about actual professionals like cops, schools, shrinks, and various other professionals being able to say, hey, this person might have something going on internally that we need to check out before we just, poof, okay, he could have a gun or she could have a gun. We're not dealing with Sally Mae at the store who has seen you mad because, you and your wife or you and your husband just had an argument and you stomp in and go, look, I don't want to talk to you, bitch. And she takes that offensively, oh yeah, she called me a bitch, so I think she's crazy and don't know how to handle her temper. Nothing like that. Like as in the sheriff says, okay, we picked them up. They are on drugs. They've been drinking. They got mad. It's happened quite a few times. Here is the evidence. Let's think about this one. Or a shrink that says, hey, you know what? This person got a whole lot of problems jumping off. And it's going to take a lot of treatment to get them back right. Okay? That's my professional opinion. Here you go. Because we also can't break the psychologist patient laws either. It's not like we mentally ill people have any kind of rights anyway. But let's try and respect some mentally ill people, which I try to do because I am one. Now, when we talk about teachers, it's like, yeah, this kid has been violent. They're a bully. They're a complete jerk. We've transferred him from school to school, and he continues to be an asshat and threaten the school. One day I'm going to come back and I'm going to shoot you up. That's been said. You might want to look at him a little bit deeper to see if maybe he shouldn't have a gun. And then, hey, if the person has changed, yeah, like that was when I was like 15 and I was out of my mind. I was trying to show out for my friends and I was a jerk back then. I admit it. But now, I'm a responsible adult. I got mentally cleared, whatever. And I now have a job, I have a family, and I want to protect my family. Here you go. Here's the evidence. And let a judge decide that. That's one red flag law I'm sure no gun owner would have a problem with. Because most gun owners aren't acting stupid like that, aren't threatening to shoot nobody up, aren't doing all this. And apparently, during their background checks anyway, they don't have a history of that violence or mental disease. Okay? Now, with HIPAA, we'd have to think about the angle for the medical thing. Whether or not you're on mind-altering meds does matter. I'm on mind-altering meds. It does matter because sometimes those meds change your temperament. So you could be perfect all the way up to getting a disease and then take these mind-altering meds and flip the script. Or without your medication, you could flip the script. It would have to be a partnership between the background check people and the medical people. And most people I know aren't going to have a problem. Hey, can we share this with background checks for, guns? Sure. You could share my medical records with background checks. It'd just be another background check. I'm sure no one would have a problem with that. But people are having a problem with if Sally Mae gets mad at you down the street and she can report it, and then all of a sudden you got a red flag on your damn, trying to buy a gun. That's what people have a problem with. But if it's a professional, I don't think they'll have a problem with that. And quite frankly, there may be a salty teacher. Now that salty teacher would have to provide proof. That salty sheriff would have to provide proof. That salty cop would have to provide proof. That salty shrink would have to provide proof. And then you have a right to defend yourself and go say, hey, you know what, Judge? They were just salty. I'm not that person anymore. And the judge says, okay, I see what you're doing there. And the law states blah. Then we could at least nip many of these in the bud. Especially these school shootings. Because if you look at all the people that participate in this crime, they all have something wrong in their dome. Okay? They've all been violent before. They all have history of being dingbats and saying this stuff. And even the parents should get in on this and say, you know what, maybe my kid shouldn't have a gun because of the way they act 24/7 at the house. You know what I'm saying? And like if they're calling the police or they're having a problem with you, then they should be able to say that. So that at least you could say, yeah, I didn't treat my parents really well, but I'm a changed person. We, went to therapy. We got it all worked out. We're great now. Here's all my defense evidence, Your Honor. Can I have a gun, please, to protect my new family? Up to the judge. That would be a proper manner. And not many parents are going to hate a child that much to say, no, you can't have a Second Amendment because I want to have rule over your life. Okay, well, if you do, let a judge decide. Well, he speaks back to me and he doesn't do as I tell him. That's not a reason. That's not a reason. And then I think the judge should send these people to go get mentally cleared. And if they're cleared by a psychologist and they say, yeah, all they have is anxiety, depression, or something minor, that isn't going to be like, and you flip out. I don't see a problem with that. And what we need to start doing is we need to start also putting an end to this Second Amendment gun debate. Okay? We need to do that because politicians are taking advantage of these happenings, these events, and they're using them. And so are the anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment. What we need to do is just say, look, the Second Amendment stands, period. The end. Then politicians won't go through all this. Then other people aren't going to go through all this. Look, if you want to buy a gun, buy a gun. If you don't want to buy a gun, don't buy a gun. Period. It shouldn't be a debate. But the fact of the matter is, I actually think that some of these shootings are caused by this political standpoint. And I also think that the media should not be able to mention a school shooter's name. Period. We should not know who did it. And the reason why I say that is because many of these people that do this, their last communications, manifestos, whatever the hell, oh, people gonna know my name. But what if they didn't? What if you couldn't get famous for this? Takes away the motivation if you look at it. They'll be famous for their damn trial, but the media can't even use their name in the trial. So it's like, yeah, sure, the people around them know who did it, but no one else does. You don't go worldwide. You don't get written down in the annals of history. You don't get no fame. You are left to take responsibility for it, get the death penalty, and then go to a jail cell and rot into oblivion. No one knows your name. No one knows what you look like. But the media has a right to report. Yes, they do. The shooter with the blurred out picture. Maybe the FCC could look into that. Because that is on every last manifesto. People will know my name. I will not be disregarded, put away, hidden anymore. Oh, the hell you won't. In fact, I think we should protect their identity better than we protect an undercover cop's identity. That's what I think. And those are my beginning solutions for this. And I think if you look at them and step out of self, they are extremely good ideas. Because number one, I will tell you right now, there is nobody in America now, in the future, in the past, ever, will give up their Second Amendment. However, we can create a safe environment to where it's respected, protected, but it's safely utilized and properly respected and protected and safely utilized. I think that there is a way to cut all this crap out to whereas the shooters get no fame. They don't go down in the history books. They're forgotten. Oh, you heard about the school shooter at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, at Sandy Hook, at Columbine? Yeah, I heard about them. And their victims were this name, this name, this name, this name, this name, and this name. They should go down in history. The victims should be remembered, not the perpetrator. That's how I feel about it. And I honestly feel that way. And if you agree with me, maybe we could get together. Maybe we can meet with a politician. Maybe a politician can contact me. I'd be more than happy to put my reputation, my ideas on the line to make sure that no more kids die, that no more cops are martyred, no more cops are scapegoated, and that we start to heal as a nation. And that's Real with Robo.